Okay, this one is definitely the mending book. I can feel it. All right, the search is going to be over. I've hardly searched, if we're being honest, but this is the one. Nope, okay. Well, anyway, welcome back to some more of my hardcore Minecraft world. Hope you guys are all having a great day. This is being recorded literally directly after the last video. Like, this is still the inventory I had at the end of the last video. I haven't even cleaned up the chests from last episode yet, okay? That's how immediately after this recording is. But the reason why I'm recording this so quickly after the last one is because I have so much work to do. For the next 7 days, as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be committing pretty much all of my time to making a spooky, haunted mansion, with the hopes of getting this uploaded either on or before Halloween. I genuinely have no idea if I'm going to be able to do this, but let's get started with... I have even more chests from last episode that I didn't clean up. This is when I terraformed the river. That's going to help, actually, because first thing I'm going to do, day one here, is I'm going to try to focus on collecting as many materials as possible, because this build is going to be massive. And thankfully, one of the blocks I'm going to need in massive bulk is moss, and I already have a lot of it. I honestly don't know if that's going to be enough. I have a little bit more in the barn as well. I'll go show that in a second, but honestly, I don't know if that's going to be enough, man. This is one of the biggest builds I've ever done. And because of that, I have actually built up some of this in a creative world. I've been messing around with Axiom a little bit, just trying to familiarize myself with the mod, because I feel like some aspects of it will be really important to me, just like getting big shapes down and stuff like that. That's kind of all I used it for with this build, and what I have so far is massive. I might scale it down, but I'm not sure. What I am sure of, though, is I'm going to need so much oak wood, a lot of spruce wood, a lot of dark oak wood, moss, which we already kind of got started on, and then a bunch of other random blocks to texture with. So suffice it to say, I need a lot of materials. All right, so I almost have a double chest filled with moss. That's going to be at least a good start. I do think I am massively lacking in oak wood, though. I want to say I maybe don't even have a log. I'm pretty sure I just have these 3 oak planks. Maybe there's a little more in these chests that I'm missing, but I don't have a lot. I also don't have like a huge collection of oak trees over where I've been collecting my wood for this world. So I think what I'll probably do is venture off like that way-ish and just kind of completely tear down a forest. I have also somehow lost my blue bed. I've had that for a while. I have no idea where it went, so we're gonna upgrade to this pink one. This one cactus also might be very important. Since I'm using moss for this build, I might want some other green blocks too. So let's get that planted. It's gonna take a while. A better YouTuber would probably make a farm. But I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to run over to that forest I was talking about and go chop down a whole bunch of wood. I guess I should probably repair my axe first, though, because it's about to die. And seeing as how my fishing dock hasn't provided me with a mending book yet, I have to actually just go do this manually with some diamonds. But we do have a ton of diamonds now. I'm going to go through and just repair up all my tools with these diamonds. I'm probably going to need them all. How do you guys actually expect to do anything when your captain's that stupid? He almost died to a tree. Watch this 360. Hold on, watch this 360. Got him! First try. My tools are all in a good spot now. Let's head off in this direction and go chop down an entire forest. My inventory is now almost completely filled with oak logs, so that'll be a good start. I don't know how much this is going to really get me, but it's a lot of oak wood, that's for sure. This village is illegal. Let's go. You can't do that. Can't do either of those. Did you do that? How'd you do that? Tell me. Right now. Alright. I see how it is. Now that I have a lot of oak wood collected, let's shift focus to spruce wood, which I actually don't have to go too far for. I think that's like 5 of the big spruce trees just all put together. So let me chop that down a couple times and see what that gives us. After a little while of collecting, this like wood chest is almost completely filled. We have a lot of spruce, a lot of it stripped, a lot of it not. I think I'm going to continue with the wood chopping, and we're going to go cut down those dark oak trees for a really long time. Because I only have 3 of them over there. Actually, completely scratch what I just said. There is a dark oak biome just over there. I think I'm gonna head that way. That's gonna be way faster. I wanted to take this time just to show where I got the inspiration from this build from. I just Googled like Spooky Mansion and found what I'm pretty sure is like a puzzle or something like that. I don't know. I think it looks cool. This kind of just goes to show you that Minecraft inspiration can really come from anywhere. I'm gonna say that this is probably enough dark oak for this build. I actually don't think I need that much, at least compared to the spruce and the oak that we gathered. So I'm hoping that this will do. I'm gonna go drop this wood off into the chests, and then I think I'm gonna start going underground and collect up some stone blocks. I also don't think I'm gonna need all that many stone blocks. It's really just for like the foundation of the build. And I'm pretty sure I actually do have a decent amount in my mine building that we built last time. But I don't think I have too much tuff, and I definitely know I'm gonna need probably that more than any other stone block. Oh, and by the way, for the stable dog over here, the last episode isn't uploaded yet when I'm recording this one right now, so obviously I can't read the comments, but I'll name that dog as soon as I upload the video. I'm gonna take a quick inventory of my stone blocks quick before we head down into the mines. I have probably more than enough just regular stone. That should be perfect there. I don't really know if I'm gonna use any stone bricks, but I could even just craft more of those. Andesite as well, I have a lot of... We don't have like any cobblestone. This is supposed to be the cobblestone chest. So I'm gonna go ahead and gather up some of that too. But then, yeah, the tough chest is not looking good. I don't really think I'm gonna use any deep slate. Maybe just a little bit of this stuff, but we have a ton. So it's really just tough and cobblestone. Unfortunately, I don't have my fortune pickaxe on me. It's in the house. All right, let me go grab that, and then I'm gonna head down into the mines, grab up some tuff, and also some cobblestone. Now, I think this might be the last bit of materials that we gather in day one. I just destroyed my water source. Wait, that's so annoying. I'll just have to remember to bring some kelp and bone meal next time I come down here. I can't believe I just did that. That's why you don't keep torches in your offhand. Anyway, like I was saying, I think this is going to be the last bit of materials we gather today. The cobblestone I gathered is still in the mine building. I actually have to move it over here. But the rest of day one here, I just want to spend looking for a good area to actually build this thing. So let's hop on Gravy and let's head, I think, this direction. Oh, another wandering trader. Hold on. What do you got? Why can you just never give me a mangrove propagule, man? Why? I feel like I've gotten every single other sapling. Anyway, I want to head this way because I think the least amount of terraforming I'm going to have to do is going to be best. And if I can kind of stick with the plains biome, it should be nice and flat, and I won't really have to spend too much time placing down dirt or like destroying a mountain, you know? I do want to build up some custom trees to like kind of add to the environment anyway. So I think a plains biome will be perfectly fine. And I also kind of want to keep it close to our starter location so I can actually put a path leading over here. I don't want it to be like thousands of blocks away. I think this area right here where my crosshair is a really, really nice looking spot. And you can see it's not far away at all from where we live. There's the enchanting tower right there. So I can definitely make a path over to this spot right there. Yeah, I think right here is actually going to do really, really nicely. I'm gonna have to smooth out the terrain a little bit. But we have a really nice backdrop though with a couple big mountains. There's a forest back there too. I think this is going to be the spot. Now that we have the build location picked out, let me go ahead and take pretty much all of the dirt that I have. Or all might be overkill. I have like a double chest and a half of dirt. Let me grab a bunch of dirt though and just get a nice looking like build platform. Now honestly, I'm just going to build just a massive completely flat platform. It's going to look horrible, but we can terraform around the build once we finish it. This is already like a pretty big area right here. So I think if we just kind of fill this entire little bowl type area to this level, that should be enough space, or at least very close to enough space. So without further ado, let's get placing. Yeah, so you know how I just said a little bit ago that that all the dirt I had would probably be overkill? Let me go ahead and take pretty much all of the dirt that I have, or all might be overkill. I have like a double chest and a half of dirt. Yeah, I had to gather dirt 2 separate times after using all of the dirt that I had to fill in this area. I'm notoriously awful at like estimating how many blocks I'm gonna need. Let's hope that doesn't happen again in this video with any of the blocks I collected just now. But we now have a huge flat platform to start building on, so let me go and transport all of the materials that we gathered today over to the build spot, and then we can actually start building on. The blocks are now all completely moved over to the build location. It's time to actually start placing some of these. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I did mess around in creative. I actually had my friend help me out, Simply Knight. We kind of designed the shape of this build together. He was also kind of teach me how to use Axiom a little bit. I've never really used it before. Wombat also helped out, so huge shout out to both of them. But I do know what like the basic shape of this build is going to look like. I didn't do any kind of texturing though, or anything like that in the creative world. I just knew if I tried to freehand this entirely, it just would not look good, and I probably wouldn't get the scale that I wanted. The goal for day 2 here is just to get pretty much all of these blocks placed. And there's another wandering trader. Hold on, I'm distracted, but this could be mangrove for me. It never is. It's just never going to be. That's what I've concluded. Yeah, the main goal here for day 2 is just to get the bulk of the blocks placed. And just to make it a little bit easier on me so I don't have to go back and forth between my creative world and this world, I did re-download Litematica. And just in case you're unfamiliar with how Litematica works, this mod allows you to take a schematic of a build like between worlds. So I went to my creative world, copied this schematic, and I pasted it here. This is just the first layer though. You can also go layer by layer, which is super cool. This thing goes up very, very tall. You can see the top of the box up there. Like this is how tall the building is pretty much. But none of these blocks are placed. As you can see, I can just run through them. I do actually have to go back through and manually place all of these in, which is what I'm gonna start working on right now. And considering these are all going to be pretty much the same block, there's not gonna really be any texturing or anything like that going on here. I think I'll just time lapse this, and then I'll be back once we have the full like shape of the building to try to figure out some different texturing techniques that I want to use. But let's kick it to another time lapse. I'm sorry to have so many of those in this video already, but what do you gotta do, man? This thing's huge. So, I'm out of oak wood. Got a lot of this done though. But yeah, you can kind of see why now I needed so much. If you're curious how much more we have left, it still has to go up about that much higher. So, you know, it's not like there's a little bit left. But here's a quick progress update. This is what it looks like right now. Obviously very, very under-detailed, but we'll work on those details here after we get like the main structure built. Also, we're missing a few pillars. I forgot to strip that dark oak log. I'll get to that eventually, but we're missing a few of the dark oak pillars every so often. Also missed that one. And I do need a couple more blocks that I kind of forgot about, but I'll kind of talk about that later once we start detailing this a little bit more. But you can kind of see how this thing is taking shape. And I hope you can realize why I needed Litematica. This would have been so annoying to have to go back and forth between worlds to build. But yeah, I have to chop down that whole like oak forest again. There is a wandering trader down here though. What do you got? It's just never anything that I need, like at all. All right, well, let me go back to that forest, chop down probably about the same amount of oak wood, and then I'll be back to finish this off. This thing's gonna look really cool though, man. I really can't wait until I get it fully built. Yeah, I told you guys this thing is huge. This thing is absolutely colossal. Very, very easily the biggest thing I've ever made. This is the end of my schematic. This is everything that I had built in my creative world. Like I said earlier, I really just wanted to get the basic shape down for pretty much everything, and even then it's not even finished. Like if I just fly around a little bit here, the porch is supposed to extend back here. This trapdoor is also definitely not supposed to be open, but whatever. Yeah, the porch is supposed to extend all the way around here. I don't know, I just didn't do that in my creative world for whatever reason. I was way more focused on just getting, like, the size and the proportions for everything. And I think I at least accomplished that. This was definitely going to be one of the harder parts, like, especially if I tried to just build this in survival. I feel like I certainly would not have gone this big. But, yeah, next up, I gotta go back through and texture this whole thing. But I've been playing Minecraft for, like, 6.5 hours today. And it's 1 in the morning. All right, I'm tired. So that seems like something we're gonna accomplish here on. I feel like before I get into any kind of texturing, I should probably fill in the gaps with the build. I'm pretty sure I've already pointed this out, but there's a lot of stuff missing with, like, the dark oak, like, beam that's supposed to be going across this left side. It's supposed to, like, be exactly like that. The porch is supposed to wrap around the corner here, which I don't have yet. And I think I also wrapped the porch around this way, but then the roof isn't correct. Yeah, the porch wraps completely around to the backside here, but the roof just ends right there. So before I do any kind of texturing, let me just spend a bit of time fixing up the build and kind of polishing it off. It probably doesn't look like much, but that took an annoying amount of time. That was like an hour and a half of just going around this thing and making sure I didn't miss any blocks or anything like that. But I think we're good. I think we're at a spot where I can start texturing. I forgot a trapdoor down there. Another sapling that isn't mangrove. Maybe this will help for next time. Now that distraction is out of the way, there are 3 distinct sections of this build that are going to require the most texturing, right? So we have, like, the foundation, which is all out of tuff, but I should have pretty much all of the blocks I'm going to need to texture up this nicely. The wood section, just for the walls, I'm going to want to blend in a couple other types of wood, and I'm kind of leaning towards some mud in some sections just to darken it up and maybe bridge the gap between this wood and like a darker type of wood. I'll have to brainstorm some stuff here in a second. But then the roof, the moss section, I'm going to need to go collect a whole bunch of new stuff. I don't have too many other green blocks at my disposal right now, so I'm actually going to have to put in a lot more effort there. I'm sure I can work in some like mossy cobblestone and some other stones and stuff, but I'm also definitely going to want some like green concrete or green terracotta or something like that. Again, I'll have to brainstorm a little, but that's going to require the most work. So I think I'm going to start with the tough section, and we'll kind of work our way up. And since you guys have seen me texture up stone plenty of different times in this world, let me just go ahead and do a quick spin. I'm fairly certain that all of the foundation is now detailed and looking a lot better. So as you can see, we mixed together a couple different blocks, right? We got some mossy sections, mossy cobblestone, we got a little bit of regular stone, a little bit of just normal cobblestone as well, and then let me find a section that has some. There we go, we have some andesite here as well. I think this pattern looks really good. It looks super good from afar, and even up close it doesn't look that bad, but if I just like kind of pop away for a minute, like go all the way back here, I think that looks so much better now than just the tuff. That didn't take very long. Like I said before, I'm very used to texturing like this. What is going to take a while is the walls. There's just a lot of them. And what would definitely be useful is just highlighting a couple texturing techniques that I'm going to be using. I'm just going to do it on a much smaller scale, like just over here or something. Now, whenever I texture something and try to blend colors together and all that fun stuff, what I'll typically do is pick a gradient that gets brighter and darker and try to mesh them together into the same wall. Now, in terms of the lighter gradient, I'm thinking of ending at sand. And the way I'm going to get there is by going from the oak planks to stripped oak wood, and then we're going to transition into stripped birch wood, and then into birch planks, and then just end at sand. So it'll look something like that. I think that gradient looks really good on just a small scale. So on a scale this large, I think it's going to look really, really solid. Now for the gradient that gets darker, I'm going to put that on the top left of this wall. So this might not look good, but just imagine this at this massive scale. It's going to look a lot better. I want this gradient to end at coarse dirt. So in order to get there, I'm going to sprinkle in a little bit of jungle planks. Then we're going to transition that into some mud, then into some mud bricks, and then finally into the coarse dirt. So then taking a step back, you can kind of see it just gets a little bit darker as you go up to the top left. I feel like the coarse dirt was just a little bit too busy up there in that top left corner, so I just decided to go with a spruce plank instead. And we can even make this blend better as well, but it doesn't really need to. Since this build is so massive, like, if the blocks don't blend like perfectly with one another, it won't make as much of a difference. Don't worry. I'm fine. The arrow just barely missed my eye. We're good. But let me go ahead and grab up a bunch of materials again. I think I'm only gonna really need to go gather some jungle wood and some mud, but the mud's gonna be super annoying since I have to just convert dirt into mud myself. But it's all right. It's definitely worth it. Mud is one of the best looking blocks in this game, I think, so it's gonna make the build look a hell of a lot better. That took a really long time, but the texturing of the walls, I think, is completely done, at least for now. I mean, this could be something that I could probably tweak, like, forever, but I'm gonna stop right now just to kind of save myself some time and probably some sanity. But I think it looks really solid. We have a lot of the lighter colors near the bottom of, like, each level of the structure. And then the darker colors are towards the top where like the roof would overhang, or maybe like underneath some of the windows where there would be potentially some moisture or whatever, just to make the building look a little bit more rundown. Also, I don't even think I pointed this out, but these two sections here are going to be towers. I just got to come up with a roof design for these. I haven't done that yet. That'll probably be in a little bit. I kind of don't want to worry about that right now because I don't have any really good ideas of how I can make those roofs look good. So I'm just going to kind of keep working on what I'm comfortable with for right now, but I'll tackle that eventually. The rain's finally gone. Thankfully, I was able to sleep, but the next step here with the texturing is going to be for the roof. And honestly, just to save a little bit of time, I'm getting a little bit worried I'm not going to be able to get this video out before Halloween, or on Halloween. So just to kind of save a little bit here, I'm going to texture the moss roof with a bunch of blocks that I already have. If I do end up having additional time, I'll run back through and add some more blocks near the end. But for right now, let me just grab a few things from my starter area. And also, it's kind of sick that you can see the building just peering over the mountain there. Oh, this is going to look so cool when it's completely done. Just as a quick example of how I'm going to texture up this roof, I'm going to work in some of these azalea leaves. They look really nice next to moss and add just a little bit more like shape to the blocks as well. Maybe even just this flowering azalea to change up the color a little bit too. And then also some mossy cobblestone, which I can bleed into some tuff. So that's going to be the main texturing that we have on the roof. Like I said, it's going to be super, super simple for right now. But even though it is simple, it still should look really good. So let's go ahead and get this all done. Now with the little bit of mossy cobblestone tuff and azalea leaves we have on the roof, the build is pretty much completely textured. Obviously, I'll still have to go through and texture whatever roof design I come up with these two towers, but that shouldn't be too difficult. I'll just kind of do the same thing. This thing is definitely starting to look incredibly, incredibly good, in my opinion. Hopefully I don't go ahead and ruin it on... The main thing I would like to focus on today is just the rest of the exterior decorations here. I don't know if I'll get it completely all done, but that's my stretch goal, I guess. As you can see, like, obviously we have a couple window spots. I want to actually go through and come up with a few window designs just to kind of see what I like best. And then we can move those around the rest of the building as well. So like these aren't going to be the only spots for windows. Across the entire porch, we'll probably have a few window spots. And then when the roof like peaks up on either side, like right here, I think that'll be nice for like a huge window. And then I also would like a huge window like right here, maybe like circular or just some weird funky shape or something like that. I think that will be a really, really nice centerpiece to this thing. But let me grab a whole bunch of spruce stuff because I think spruce is going to be the main block we use for these windows. And honestly, where are they? Where are these shelves? Okay, I'm gonna use a lot of these shelves. These blocks are fantastic. All right, let's just work on this window here. just so I can come up with some type of design and we can move this kind of all the way around. So this window is 4 blocks wide, and I actually kind of did that on purpose because I think having something in the middle here would look really cool to kind of separate it up. So let's do a couple stairs, and then let's do back-to-back shelves like that. And then I'm thinking maybe like a trapdoor or 2 on either side as well. Let's close those. And let's put 2 stairs at the top, and then 2 more of these shelf blocks. And then probably just like 2 trapdoors on either side as well. Okay, that looks kind of funky from down here, but if I peel back a little bit, it does look pretty cool. All right, so that's the design number 1. I'm going to use this second larger window. Hold on, I can't play scaffolding there. I'm going to use this second larger window for another design, and let's see which one I like better. I think I'm pretty much going to do the same exact thing. I do just want to maybe round this off, though, here. I think that could look kind of cool instead. Yeah, so let's put like stairs like that in the corners, and then let's do the shelf and trapdoor design at like the first window, because then that allows me to put trapdoors all along here then too. All right, then let's peel back another time. Okay, I definitely think I like the right side. I think that rounds it off a lot nicer. And honestly, hold on, wait. We don't even need that to all be trapdoors, because these shelf blocks are just like the best things in the game. I think that'll add just a little bit better of a shape here. Right, one last peel back. And yeah, I think that's going to be the design. That looks really cool. It just gives it so much more shape. Like, that's such an inorganic, like, Minecraft shape. Like, the circles on either side of the beam in the middle. That looks so cool. All right, so that was simple enough. That's definitely going to be the window design I use for these larger windows in the front. And then, honestly, for this window here, I might just keep it, like, as simple as possible. And just kind of round it completely off, using the shelf blocks as well, just to give a slightly different shape. Yeah, that looks really good. Okay, I think that's good for those 3 windows in the front. Now I need to kind of decide if I want to have like an overhang on these windows, or if I want them just kind of flush with the wall like that. Let me go grab a couple spruce slabs and just experiment with a couple different combinations. Okay, here is design number 1. We can just have something over the top like that. It doesn't look so bad. I feel like I want to switch that out for a different block, though. I feel like that's just too much spruce right there. So let me try it with some dark oak. That actually might look a little bit better. All right, does the dark wood look any better? I think it does. I think it looks better than the spruce, but I don't know if I like it. I think it'll just be too much if I add this everywhere, and then also, like, these fences would connect if I try to do the same thing in the middle. So I gotta come up with some different design if I want an overhang. Okay, I have no idea if I'm doing anything cool or if this just looks awful. I actually feel like that looks kind of cool. I don't know. That looks weird for sure, but I think it's like a cool type of weird. There's definitely something here. Like, there might be a little bit more tweaking I need to do, but there's definitely something here. Like, it feels a little bit too thin, so maybe if I just like thicken up all these slabs, it'll look better. Okay, I think that might be it. I think that might be the design over the top. It's still a little weird, but I like it. It's like a little spiky at the bottom, but I think that actually fits the vibe of this build super well. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna go with, for sure. Cool. All right, I'm glad I actually tested a couple different things out. So now that I have this wall pretty much finalized, let me move on to this wall. This side of the building is still super tall, so I think I should probably have a window like right here, a window right here, and then maybe one in the middle there. That might look the best. Let me see what kind of sizes we got here. I think those sizes look really good. The window at the top is very, very tall, but that's all right. I mean, this roof is very tall, so I feel like it makes sense. So let me just quickly throw on the same design that we just came up with for the other windows. These windows are now complete. I did end up actually reshaping these a little bit. I made these bottom ones a little bit taller, and then this top one is like a circle now instead of being just a box, and I think it actually looks a lot better. The next window I would like to work on is this main tower right here. This one's definitely going to be a bit of a challenge because I want this building to be like sort of round, kind of like the top one we just built over there, but maybe even more so. I think this is a pretty cool shape, at least to start with. This can be something that I continue to tweak just as I build here. Let's run through with our spruce again, and let me actually take out these corner blocks and make those spruce stairs instead. I think that's going to add to the shape. And I think I do take out these sides as well. That's going to make it just a little bit more round. Yeah, that's almost like a perfect circle, but that might look pretty good. And let's kind of fill in the rest with trapdoors and shelves and whatnot. And I'm sorry for all the free cam in this video, but I just jumped right off. I hope you can realize that it is a little necessary to kind of look at this build. But let's pop back here. And that's looking pretty cool. I think I will come in, though, and put spruce wood along this entire boundary. I do think that the edges over here should probably be oak wood. I think they look a little bit weird touching the pillars of the build, but I do really like this shape. But if you just really focus on like that middle circle, it looks so cool. Just because like the shelves and the trapdoors, they just add so many different just shapes, honestly, to this thing. It's such a unique looking thing. I'm just not used to seeing something like that in Minecraft. And all right, that is what the central window is going to look like. I think that thing looks really cool. It also kind of looks like a face. Like those spruce bits up there kind of look like eyes. And that's the mouth. Can't stop seeing it now. I might have to I might have to fix that. But anyway, I think that's going to be like all of the window designs that I use around this entire place. So let me just run around for a while and throw in a whole bunch of windows to make this build look a lot better. I feel like almost every time that I like start talking again after doing something substantial, it's raining. So I apologize if you guys don't like the rain in this game. I actually quite like it. I know a lot of people don't, but I think it's a cool little vibe. It makes it feel a little bit more cozy, especially when I'm like on the porch. I don't know. It just feels cool. But the windows are now at least in their spots. I still definitely have to figure out the window block that I'm going to go with, but that'll be something we figure out later. With the inclusion of all of these window spots, though, the build is looking a lot more complete, but it is still incredibly, incredibly bare. Yeah, we got textured walls, we got some cool window designs, we got some cool, like, shapes and stuff everywhere, but it's not really lively, you know? It doesn't really look lived in or anything like that. I was able to sleep, so I got rid of the rain. Hopefully the viewing experience is a little bit better. You know, a better YouTuber would have probably just re-recorded that entire section there, like when it wasn't raining, just to make it better, but I'm not going to do that. So the build is definitely looking good. It's taking shape for sure. But it is in massive need of some, you know, additional external details to really bring it to life. And those external details are going to be the main focus here on... My last episode has been uploaded now for a few days, so we can go ahead and name the dog. And the name I'm choosing is Lamp, from my man Zachary Wade 4478. I don't know, I just think it fits him. Look at him, dude. That looks just like a lamp. He's my dude, and I love Lamp. So this works. It is so insanely cool that we could see the building from here. Like I can see it from pretty much everywhere in my starter area, but like the mine entrance, this is like the best view, dude. That looks so cool. It's gonna look even better when we put that tower on, which I think is actually gonna be like the first thing we work on. And then after I figure out the roof for both of the tower sections, we can just start working on, you know, some other exterior decorations. I brought a handful with me, but I'm definitely gonna need a lot more. And just to potentially make my life a little bit easier, I think I'm going to bring these roofs down to like my level, to the ground level. Because if I start trying to make it up there and then I need to get rid of something and, you know, if I just don't like what it looks like, so many blocks are just going to fall all the way down. So this should save me a little bit of headache here. So this square over here is this central tower, and then the circle over there is this side tower. So let's see what kind of design I can come up with. I'm going to start with the circular tower because I think I have an idea of what I want. I know we're definitely going to have some upside down spruce stairs, just like this, just to add a little trim to the whole roof, kind of like we have on the entire roof all the way around. And I think I'm going to want this roof to be very pointy. It's going to be like a tall, pointy, like wizard-esque kind of roof. I think that's going to look really good. Usually whenever I build up roofs like this, I usually just start with like the flat edges of like the circle, which doesn't really make any sense because a circle doesn't have any flat edges, but it's Minecraft. I usually start with these edges and then just meet in the middle, just until I get a shape that I'm comfortable with, and then it's honestly just far easier to fill in the gaps from there. Okay, now what does that type of thing look like? I feel like that actually looks pretty cool. It's very, very tall, but I think that up there is going to be like the perfect height. I got all the spruce sections in. I also decided to bring it up to a point in the middle, so we just extended a couple more spruce planks, put in some mud brick walls, and then a spruce fence. And I think that's looking pretty cool. And now I just kind of have to fill in each of these like quadrants with some moss. But for this, I'm probably only going to need to do just one quadrant here. And once I get a shape that I like with this one, I should be able to replicate that very easily all the way around. All right, let me take one quick step back and take a look at that shape. And yeah, I think that looks really good. That looks really cool from this angle. I think the trick to making a nice pointy roof, I'm still not the best at this, but, you know, whenever I do it, is as I go, like, diagonally in, the blocks just get a little bit lower. So, like, what that means is if you're looking at it from, like, this side here, so, like, this moss block comes up 2 blocks high, and then it's 1 block, 1 block, 1 block. If you go up even higher than that, you can see it even better. This one comes all the way up here. This next one is a block lower, and then this one in the middle here is also a block lower, but then there's a wall on top of that. I think that just makes the shape look a lot cooler. Wish there was moss stairs. That would help me out tremendously, but I guess for the time being, I can make some mossy cobblestone stairs, but I am running a little bit low on moss, which is concerning. Yeah, so all I did there was just put 2 stairs right here, and then I brought this wall down 1 block, and I think that shape looks a little bit cooler here. So, okay, that's gonna be the shape that we use. I can pretty easily replicate this on every other side. And hopefully this just looks cool up there as well. If this doesn't look good up there, I'm going to be very upset. Because I really don't want to have to destroy all this when I'm like 50 blocks in the air. Only one way to find out, I guess. Alright, so the roof on the tower is now completely done. And yeah, I really like this. That looks so good. I think that's super well proportioned. I was a little bit nervous to, to go ahead and build this. I thought it was going to take me a really long time, but that was actually my, like, first real attempt. And I got it kind of right away, so we definitely take those. Now, the roof I'm really not looking forward to designing is this square one. Because if you look at the reference image, it doesn't really come up to, like, a complete point. That's what I'm normally used to building. This one, it kind of looks like there's like some kind of like roof platform up there that you can actually walk on. And I honestly don't know if I'm going to be able to design this too well, but I will do my best. All right, after a little bit of trial and error, I think this shape will probably do. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I hate that roof a lot. I end up trying to convince myself a lot that I like this. So I leave it on the building for like far too long. But I just wanted to let everyone know, like, don't worry, that gets switched off. It looks horrible. I know. It gets switched out near the end, so you don't have to deal with this for too long. I'm not super happy with this, but I don't think it's that bad. If this ends up looking weird, I could always just continue it going straight up to a point, and we can just have like a pointed roof here. But I honestly think the roof with like the more flat top will look a little bit better. So I'm gonna try it. Let's see if this roof looks good on top of that central tower. Now with the roof on the central tower, it looks a little bit strange. I'm trying to work on that now. I actually just like extended it down another couple of blocks. I think what could really also help is if I move all this stripped dark oak 1 block down as well. That'll kind of take those like eyes away that I was looking at before, that little, you know, spruce wood section. But I think that'll help a lot. So let me keep working on this. I'm pretty close, I think, though. I think we're getting there. All right, so I think I like this design a little bit better now. I think the roof fits a lot more, but it even looks like more like a face now. These little areas up here just look like eyes still. I'm hoping that once I put like whatever window block I'm gonna use in this main window, it'll not look like a mouth anymore. But if it ends up still looking like a face, I'll just change it later. I'm gonna roll with this for now though. All right, and now everything on this building has a roof. And I think this thing is looking so cool. except for this guy. Whatever that is. Maybe we keep it. Do we keep the face? I don't know, it could add some interest to it. I don't want to keep the face. I want to continue working on the exterior of this build though. I'm admittedly very bad at external decorations, but, you know, I have a bunch of leaves. We have a couple campfires. I can probably make a handful more of those. We have some paintings. I don't know if I'm going to use them, but we can probably get some, like, spooky-looking paintings across the balcony. That could look kind of cool. Or across the porch, I mean. Bunch of chests. Probably throw in some barrels. All my normal exterior decoration. I'm just going to kind of run through and do that all over the place. And hopefully it brings this build to life. That's kind of the plan here. So let me go get that done. Man, I just checked, and we started this video on day, like, 272. It is day 412. I've been working on this forever, but the exterior decorations are pretty much done. I think my last day working on this is just gonna be, like, fine-tuning everything and finishing off, like, small little things that I kind of notice. So I don't want to say anything's like 100% done just yet, because there might be some like extra external details that we add. And there, yeah, there's a pillager, like I think on the roof or somewhere. Oh, there he is. He'll die. But yeah, this is what now the porch looks like. I said that in a really weird way, but yeah, this is the porch. Got a couple different chairs. I didn't know what wood to use. I just figured warped is a little spooky. I feel like that kind of works. I really like this like fence design. I saw Wombat do something really similar to this, where he had a couple like open fence gates, making it look like the signs in the front are being supported. And I think this just looks really, really cool. It looks really good actually from like over there. I'll show that off in a second, but even just on the porch, I think it looks solid. I think these archways look really nice in the front. It definitely frames out this porch very, very nicely. And we have a nice big door. Using these shelf blocks again too. This is actually the backside of the shelves. These look really sick as well. Really like the texture on the back side of the shelves. And then walking down the steps, we have an area with some leaves and some soul sand and whatever this one's called. I forgot the name of it. Soul soil. Yep, knew that. And a couple leaves on top. I actually want these leaves to be the like mangrove roots, but you guys already know this, obviously. I don't have mangrove yet in this world. One day we'll get it, but I think the mangrove roots will look a little bit better and will blend in with the soul sand a lot nicer. And we can use the other like mangrove aspects, like the muddy roots or whatever they're called as well, to blend it together. I think that's going to look really nice and really darken up those corners. That's kind of the vibe I want to go for there. I don't really want them to be oak leaves. Like, I think it is a little bit too bright and matches like these leaves up here a little bit too well, but I do think that's better than nothing. So just going to be a placeholder for right now. But yeah, like I said, taking a step back, you can kind of see this thing in its entirety, like all the detail and stuff in the porch. It might still look a little bit under-detailed, but I think it's detailed enough. I don't want to go crazy with this, because honestly, that would just take me forever. And I don't want to, like, ruin the shape by over-detailing it or anything like that. I think this is actually in a really good spot. I should put a window up there, too. I kept meaning to do that, and then I kept forgetting. That sounds like a day 7 problem. Oh, I think I did fix, like, the face up here as well. If you guys kind of remember, these were like more of like archways, sort of. Instead, I just put a couple slabs with some trapdoors underneath, and I feel like that kind of breaks up the pattern. I don't really see it as much anymore, so I feel like it's fine. Next up, I want to work on the terrain. It doesn't really look like this build should be here. Kind of just looks like it's plopped down. There's not too much going on here to actually blend it into the environment. I mean, I did a little bit there with the coarse dirt and the soul sand and the soul soil. That's the name of it, I learned. I did a little bit of it there, but I want to do a lot more. I want to build up a couple like custom trees, maybe add some other foliage, make the ground a little bit darker in the front, maybe add some more coarse dirt, all that kind of fun stuff. Just to make it look like it is spooky and actually fits the vibes. And I need to get rid of these cherry blossom trees for sure, because they don't fit the vibe at all. And should I really do the same thing that I've been doing every time I cut to a different day and like cut myself off right when I'm about to say the next day? Should I do that again, or should I just cut myself off in the middle of this sentence? It's tree time, but very different trees than I'm used to building. I'm gonna build a bunch of dead trees. I think that'll fit this area a lot better. I've never actually built a completely dead tree before, so this is gonna be a brand new experience. I'm just gonna get started, probably just throwing down some tuff, and then I can kind of run back through and add some texturing blocks in later. But let's throw a tree maybe over here. That'll probably be a good spot. Let me see what I can come up with. Dude, I have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to this. All right, it's kind of chaotic, but I'm going to start with this as the base of the tree. Just kind of threw down a whole bunch of just tough blocks, a couple slabs, a couple walls. And from here, I'm just going to try to make a whole bunch of different branches just kind of sprawling out. And that's mainly going to be accomplished using the walls. I also grabbed a little bit of spruce fences just to make the tops of these get a little bit smaller, so it looks like just thinner branches up there. And I also have these spruce trapdoors. That's gonna look really good with the walls, because that just changes the shape of the wall, you know, off to the side, so that's gonna look really cool. I really wish fences attached to walls. I don't know why they don't, but I guess it's alright. This is really difficult to commentate because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just kind of throwing random blocks together and hoping it works out. And I'm kind of just realizing now that this blends in a little bit too well with the foundation. Like, you can kind of barely even see the different shapes here, so I might need to switch this out for some wood instead. Let me actually go start doing that now. I think it'll look a lot better. All right, so I just went in and switched out pretty much all of the tuff to some spruce and some mud bricks and a little bit of jungle. I left a little bit of the tuff there, though. I think that'll be all right if I just kind of have it very sparingly. And I think that looks pretty cool. The shape still has to be ironed out a little bit more, but we're definitely getting there. I think I should just start making trees like this all the time. Just looking at dead trees, because if I just put leaves on this, that would probably also look good. Yeah, I'm super happy with this tree. That was suspiciously easy. Does this look horrible and I just, for whatever reason, think it looks good? I don't know. I'm like second guessing myself because I did this so quick. I think this thing's actually good. Like, I'm surprised. This took me like 20 minutes to build. I thought it was going to be at least like triple that, to be honest. I thought I was going to have to tear this down and rebuild it so many different times, but I just really like this. I keep running around it to try to find issues, but I feel like it looks pretty good from all sides. It fits the vibe that I'm going for. Yeah, this just looks really good. I'm happy with this. I'm going to go through and throw in a handful more of these just around the front yard here. And that should start making this build feel like it belongs here. So let's get to it. There are now 8 dead trees in the front lawn of the builds, and these ones on the left are pretty much exactly the same as these 4 on the right. I just changed the orientation and flipped around a couple of the blocks, but they are the same. Like, that one back there is the exact same tree as this, just flipped around differently. They look different enough, though, where you can't really tell, at least in my opinion, so I think they're good. I do really like these trees, though. I'm incredibly surprised with myself. I think they all turned out really, really well. I do want to continue working out front here just to add some more spooky vibes to this area, and probably put in a pathway. I mentioned this earlier, but I want to eventually have a path that stems all the way from here to the starter area, and it'll probably like wind around this way if I had to guess, because straight off in this direction is just the lake. So I don't really think that'll work, so I'll probably have to go around everything, which isn't really a big deal. I think it'll actually look really cool. So I feel like just putting in at least the end of that pathway here would probably be a good idea. And then I also would like to get rid of all of these cherry blossom trees and maybe level out the terrain a little bit more. It's going to be a lot of tedious work, but it's going to be incredibly, incredibly important just to make this build feel like it belongs here. And this is definitely better time-lapsed. So let me put my head down for a little bit, grind this away, and then I'll be back for whatever's next. I have killed probably like 10 waves of these guys ever since starting this build. They just do not leave me alone. But the area now, I think, is in a much better spot. The build definitely looks like it fits into the environment way better than it did before. There's no cherry blossom biomes anymore. I mean, they're still here, You can see it's like a little bit brighter with the grass and everything, but no trees, none of the flower stuff on the ground. What is it called? There's actually one more right here. What is this? I didn't pick it up. There it is. Pink petals. Not really any more of those in view, so I think this thing looks so much better in the environment. That was everything that I had planned here for day 6. So that just leaves one final day for some finishing touches. So let's move on to... We made it. The final day to detail this build. I can't believe we're here. Kind of like I was alluding to a couple times, honestly, in this video. All I want to do today is just put on the finishing touches. There's a handful of different things that I want to get done, and there's no real, like, theme to any of these, so this is just going to be a whole bunch of random stuff. Like, just a quick couple of examples, just off the top of my head. I need to figure out what kind of window block to use. I have no idea. Honestly, I still have no idea. That's going to take some thought power. I need to switch out all of these torches for lanterns. I don't actually want torch spam everywhere. I would like to put a window up there. That still has to be done. And I'm honestly still unsure about this roof. There is a very real chance I just scrap that entirely. Oh, and a chimney. I definitely want to add a chimney to this build. That'll add a lot. It'll add some movement too with the smokestacks shooting up. Let's actually start with that, because I know for a 100% certainty I want to add a chimney. Probably where the tower is, pretty much just on this side of the roof, just to kind of balance it out. I'm going to need to go grab some blocks. I feel like a red chimney of sorts, like a granite chimney, maybe some bricks, maybe some other texturing blocks in there, will look really nice with this color palette. No, I got rid of my water. No. Oh, that's frustrating. I'm just gathering up some mud because I think it's going to look good with the granite. And I got rid of my water. This is just tragic. I need a mangrove swamp so badly, dude. Next episode, man. Next episode, I'm finding one. I don't care how long it takes. I'll stream it or something. I don't know. I'm going to find one because I cannot keep doing this. I use so much mud in this build, and every single piece of mud I had to gather this way. It is so tedious. I know there's like machines and stuff you could build to get it faster, but I can't do that. I'm an idiot. This is all the mud I'm collecting. Okay, I'm gonna make this work somehow. 51 packed mud, that should be plenty. It's not gonna be. I definitely underestimated it, but I don't care, all right? It's the principle. I'm done. All right, I think I have everything in my inventory to build up this chimney. This shouldn't be too complicated. All right, I think the best spot for this chimney is going to be like right here. And I'm just gonna build it straight into the side of the roof. I don't think I'm gonna have a section like on the ground that this touches. I think building a chimney like this will be perfectly fine here. And like everything else, I'm just going to work out the shape first, and then I'll come back through and add in some more blocks. I feel like about that high will probably work. Yeah, you can see it over the top of the roof. Can I see it from the ground level? This is going to be important. You can. Okay, so you can still see it from the ground level. Let me go up like 2 more blocks to probably there. And then I got to remember there's going to be campfires on top of this, and then probably a couple walls on top of that. And since this house is so massive, I'm gonna put hay bales underneath the campfires to make the smoke go up higher. And don't worry, I'll cover up the hay bales. Just gotta burn my toes for a second. And then I will also put a trap door up here to cover up the campfires themselves. And then on top of these campfires, I'm thinking a mixture of tough walls and granite walls will look good. And then I also want to put some flower pots up there, but they're down in my chests. I only brought the decorated pots. You guys ready for this though? Okay, I'm gonna break this block, and then I'm gonna water bucket clutch. Just clinical. Gonna run through and add some more granite just along the sides to make it look even more supported here. Just throwing a couple walls on top of each of these sections is just gonna make it look even better. So let's go craft up some more. And then while I'm down there, I'll go grab the flower pots. Okay, I don't even know if this is gonna be noticeable, but I'm putting 4 flower pots on top of those walls. And there's a chance that you'll be able to see that. That might be a cool addition. But now let me run through and add a whole bunch of walls all over the place. And like everything else here, we can texture all this up, but I just want to get a lot of these down first. Okay, I think this shape is looking a lot cooler now. So I think I can come back through and start texturing. And I'm going to do that by just having a nice gradient going probably all the way up this thing. We're going to start at the bottom here with some coarse dirt. From the coarse dirt, then, we're going to go into, actually, some of this mud brick. but let me break in a little bit more coarse dirt because this thing is pretty tall. All right, so now let's break in that mud brick that I was talking about. And then from the mud brick, we're gonna break in some normal mud. And then while at this granite level, I'm just gonna break in a little bit of brick. Maybe some of these brick walls, actually. Those look pretty cool. I don't have too many bricks, I only have 13, so I kind of have to use these a bit sparingly. But I think just a couple here and there will look pretty cool. And that should be the entire chimney design. I feel like it's a good shape, it's a good size. You can see it from pretty much everywhere you are looking at the build. And I think it works. Okay, cool. We got the chimney down. That's honestly such a simple building tip. If you're struggling to like detail your houses, just add a chimney. It's such an easy way to just make your builds look so much better. Adding any kind of movement to your builds helps a lot. And a chimney is just like a super easy one. All right, that's one of the things I wanted to get done. Let's move on to just probably filling in this area with a whole lot of lanterns. That's another pretty simple one. Actually, completely scratch what I just said. I'm not going to be doing any of the lanterns right now. I'm going to postpone that a little bit because I have figured out the window design. Or the window block, I guess I should say. I was thinking about it for a while and I really couldn't come up with anything, so I asked my friend Simply Knight for his opinion on what he thinks I should use as these windows. So I hopped into a quick call with him on Discord. I don't know if I'm going to be able to include any of the footage because when I was sharing my screen, it messed up the recording a little bit, but if I'm able to, I'll put a little bit of the footage here. But these windows are actually going to consist of 2 different blocks. Shroomlights and chiseled bookshelves. It does unfortunately mean I'm probably going to have to gather more shroomlights because I only have 23. But let me show you the idea. Now, the chiseled bookshelves are pretty self-explanatory. I'm just gonna straight up use those as the window block. And when you see the shroomlight design that Simply Knight recommended, you're gonna see why I went with the chiseled bookshelves as the other one. I'm gonna use this window up here just as a quick example. So I actually have to come back 3 blocks before I put the shroomlights down, but let's get all of these placed. And then on these shroomlights, I'm gonna go ahead and throw down some trapdoors at the top of each of these blocks. And then in front of those trapdoors, I'm gonna put 1 spruce fence going all the way down. Looks really weird from right here. But if you take a step back, it looks like that. So to me, these look like the same blocks, but this one just has a light on. And you can kind of even like go around a little bit more and it doesn't look too weird, even though there aren't shroomlights like over here. I could probably round this whole thing off to make it look a little bit better, like from every angle. But from like straight on, this looks so good. So that is the idea that I'm gonna go with for these windows. I do need a lot more shroomlights though. I gathered up about a stack of shroomlights and a little bit less than that in glowstone. I'm just gonna kind of use both of these here. Shroomlights are such annoying blocks to get. Let me throw on the rest of these shroomlight windows and then I'll be back to do something else. Chicken. Darn. Okay, so all of the windows are now completely done. I'm gonna leave this central one open. I think I'm gonna commit to it. I think it'll be a cool spot for like a happy ghast potentially one day. So I'm just gonna let it kind of go. Just breathe. I don't know. But yeah, we have a lot of windows now with the shroomlights. I did run out. I planted 1 tree. I didn't have a shroomlight on it, and I immediately gave up. So we used some glowstone in some other spots, and then the rest of them I just filled back in with the bookshelves. I wouldn't mind coming back through eventually and taking out the bookshelves and putting more shroomlights in because they do look really good. I just really don't want to do it right now, man. It's such an annoying block to gather. I hate going to the nether. I hate planting the nether trees in the overworld. It's just bad. But like I mentioned before, the next thing I want to do is I want to change up that roof. It's just not it. So let me fill up my inventory with all the materials I'm going to need and I can get building. That took an annoyingly long amount of time, but the roof is now switched out. And I think it does look a lot better, especially from down here. It gets nice and tall there in the front. Looks pretty cool. I am in the process of adding another window up there just to fill in the space. It's day 456, by the way. Like, we're getting really close to 200 days in this video. Man. Anyway, this window is now completed. And it looks like this. And I think this tower in general just looks a lot better now. It doesn't look like a face to me anymore. So I'm going to take that as a win. All right, then if you're curious what the backside of this looks like, I just brought the wall out a little bit more. I put that same window back here as well. And then just to avoid putting another window down here, I just threw in some leaves. The backside of the building doesn't look nearly as good. The windows repeat too much because there's too many of these chiseled bookshelves, but it's fine. I also threw in a couple stairs into the wall. I think that's a really cool effect. It is a really small detail, but I do think it makes actually a pretty big difference. Let me just at least do it in the front of the building, because that's the side we're going to see way more often anyway. It's very, very subtle, but it just adds that little bit of extra detail just every so often. I do really like it. I'm also going to run through and throw in a couple of leaves in front of some of these windows. I just think that second level just needs a tad bit more decoration. I do have to stop myself at some point, though, because I could really run around this build, honestly, forever, and just continuously add little details to it. So I think I'm going to cut myself off after I add these leaves to the two windows on that side. And I'm also going to add just one more window up there. I just think it calls for it. But then after that, the only other thing I really want to do is just put lanterns everywhere. The thing that I mentioned so long ago. I'm not going to lie, I ran out of shroom lights, so I just put the chiseled bookshelves in with the shroom lights up there. I don't think you could notice it too much, so I'm going to say it's okay. You want to see potentially the most extra thing I'm going to do? I'm gonna put a brewing stand at the top of this tower. I saw Mr. Matt Ranger do this once, and it looked really cool. But that's the last little thing I'm gonna do. Let me take a step back here so you can kind of see that. It's so subtle. It really is, especially when it's up that high. But it just makes the point a little bit cooler. That probably wasn't worth it. Okay, let me do the final thing. Okay, there's two things. I gotta fill in this gap. And then I have to put in lanterns. Okay, that's it. That's all I'm gonna do, and then I'm done. I can't keep going. If I keep going, I'm going to lose my mind. As for this section that I'm gonna cover up, I'm really just gonna put some spruce slabs over it. I can't imagine I'm gonna be looking up too much when I'm under this porch. So I think this is okay. And I think for these lanterns, I'm just gonna put a spruce fence, a chain, and then just hang the lantern on top of that. I kind of like a more simple lantern design anyway, so I think this works. It's done. It's finally done. After almost 200 days, I have finished my spooky mansion. You can see the shadow of it creeping up on me. Look at it go, dude. Wow, that's crazy. Of course, I got the shaders on as well. Let's take one final look at this thing. Dude, it looks so good. I can't get over how cool this thing is. I can't believe I built this. Wow, I did not think I was capable. I gotta be honest. I didn't really think this video was ever going to end, but I'm so glad I did. Oh, of course it's raining. Wait, that kind of fits though. Wait, that makes it look so much better. Wait, chicken. No, okay. That makes it look so much better. Oh, I'm in love. I'm in love with this build. The day I'm recording this right now is Halloween, so it's looking a little unlikely that I'll be able to get the video uploaded today, but I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna try to grind it out, and hopefully I can actually get this posted. If anything, it'll just be uploaded November 1st. All right, I also just wanted to see what this thing looked like in the daytime, and it still looks so cool. Man, thank you guys so much for watching this video, especially if you've watched until this point. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this one. Now, I'm sure some of you are wondering what the interior is gonna be. And to that, I say,